Hey, Haley Comet here, back for another installment of my Ultimate Guide series. This time it's the Virgo edition. So, you, my friend, are smitten for a Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Mars, Venus just has a strong Virgo energy to their chart, and you're wondering how you can familiarize yourself with the energy and put your best foot forward in this game of dating. So, the first thing to know about Virgo energy: it is the sign of service. Their minds are continually working to analyze the world around them, refine and make improvements. That is why Virgos are so detail-oriented. That's how they process the world, is through details and through minutia. So you may know you're Virgo, but you may not know how much they're in their mind and how critical they are of themselves and also of other people. So Virgos tend to have very high standards because they can find a flaw in anybody. Their minds are wired to find perfection in an imperfect world. So at some stage of dating your Virgo, you will have your Virgo point out a flaw about you. Try not to take it too seriously. It's just how they operate. It's just how they operate. It's actually kind of their love language. And you actually might find something helpful in what they say. They don't mean it from a bad place. It's just how their mind is wired to view the world, and they may think that they're doing you a favor. And you typically won't exit a time or a stint or a date with a Virgo without being improved in some way. They are very helpful, intelligent folks. I still have recipes that I use from Virgos I've dated, and like habits that they've taught me, like running was inspired by a Virgo. So they tend to leave with good sprinkles of like knowledge or advice left over, but it might just be frustrating. But know that if a Virgo takes the time to actually share with you something they've noticed, like, hey, I noticed, you could keep your house cleaner, or you could run in the morning like I do, or you could maybe type this way, it would come across more professional. You might be like, ouch, what? But they actually mean it as a good thing. They wouldn't take the time to invest in you and tell you that piece of information that they've gathered unless they actually did care for you. So it is a good thing when they criticize you, and it's actually their love language. It's actually a good sign. It means that you guys are moving in the right direction. But let's say you just barely know this Virgo. They play it super cool. P.S. A lot of Virgos play it super cool. You'll be like, okay, so what's going on? Because they can be very cool and very detached. They're independent by nature. They do their own thing. They're very much in their own head. They're always have a gazillion projects going on of theirs and of other people, other projects that they've taken on, other things, other ways to be helpful. So they're kind of fine without a partner. So you might be like, okay, this person is so detached, and that won't necessarily change. Virgo does not structure their life around love and romance. They are very practical and realistic. And so expecting like a Virgo to be like, hey, let's run away into the sand. They'll be like, I've got sand in my toes, and I have jujitsu at 6 p.m. and a paper due at 8 p.m. Like, why are we running in the beach? So they're very practical. That won't go away. And they tend to start things very slow. They start things as friends, typically. They're sussing you out. They're trying to see if you're a good project to invest in. And yes, they view things as investments, and they're trying to get a good ROI. So if they're wondering if you are worthy of their time and their energy, they don't like to waste. They are efficiency masters. So they kind of usually keep people in their circle, just kind of sussing them out. They notice everything. They notice everything. They are so fixated on minutia. So when you go to meet up with them, be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of even how you look. They tend to fixate on little things. So like this messy ponytail wouldn't be cutting it for a Virgo right now. They'd probably want it more neat and more precise. And they will notice. They will notice. Not to say to change yourself in any life, but maybe if you're going to meet up with a Virgo, take extra time to make sure there's no stains on your shirts or like those strings hanging off, because they will notice. They will notice. And they're sussing you out. They're trying to figure you out. They're trying to gather intel, gather data, so that they can, like in their rational little minds, like figure out the equation of whether or not they want to make you their partner. And the interesting dichotomy about dating a Virgo is you need to have your stuff completely together, but you also need to be kind of a mess. Like what? They are fixated, they are magnetized towards projects. They have this like need within their minds to be helpful at all times. So they need to feel like they can help you in some way. So if you are just like so perfect, have your stuff together, so independent, they feel like you have no use for them. So really play up what they are knowledgeable about and go to them with that problem. So for example, they code in their free time and you're designing your website and you have hit this weird block of code where it's making everything filter to the left even though you want it center. Go to them with that. They would love to showcase their knowledge. You know, they're into golf. Ask them a golfing question. They love to be useful for you. They'll go above and beyond. Go to them with a problem, whether it's a personal problem, professional problem, problem in your hobby, whatever it is. They need to feel like they can be useful to you. But at the same time, you can't be too much of a mess because Virgos need to project that they've got their stuff together and that they're perfect and there's certain like aura. So if they are thinking about partnering with you and you're just like messy McMesserson, just getting your mess all around town and starting to get on their facade, they don't want to be associated with that. They're very concerned with kind of image and how things look and making things right and making things look right to the external world. So while you do want to showcase that, hey, you can be helpful for me. I'm not a perfect person. I need your help. I need your guidance because you're just Miss or Mr. Virgo who just knows all things. But to be fair, they really are some capable, intelligent people. So they really will help your life. But it might just be frustrating. And I'm not saying be like damsel or man in distress, like, oh, I can't do anything. But give them opportunities to help you. They will love it. They need to feel useful and they need to feel helpful. Habits are a big thing to Virgo. So you might be trying to understand your Virgo and you're like, okay, I don't get it because everything I read about Virgo says that they're clean and orderly and healthy, and this Virgo I'm involved with isn't any of those things. It's not to say that they're always clean and orderly. That's not it. Some very much can be that way. Some very much can be the opposite way. Virgo is about things that you do every single day. It's about habits and it's about routines. So you'll find Virgos that drink green juice and run 5 miles before 6 a.m. every day as often as you'll find a Virgo who binge drinks Jack Daniels before 2 p.m. on a weekday. It's about habits, things that are done every single day. Knowing that Virgo has this pronounced relationship with habits, try not to interfere too much with their habits. So if you know your Virgo gets up, reads the newspaper, drinks their coffee in their silence within their own world, let them have that space. If you know your Virgo gets up at 5 a.m. and runs, don't complain. It's funny, they are fine micromanaging everyone else, but they don't want to be micromanaged. So let them do their thing. Obviously, don't allow yourself to be disrespected if they're doing anything that's hurting you, but within the realm of their own habits and routines, let them have that. They're so principled to a Virgo. They need to have their own world, their own way of doing things, because they see the world through systems and minutia and data. So they need to have their own way of going through the world, however it makes sense to them, because they've thought it through a lot. They think so much. They think so much. They live so much life through this mental process. They're gathering data at all times. With that being said, they're also an earth sign. Earth rules sensuality and earthiness and food and sex and like physical experience. So while they are mental, they're ruled by Mercury, also bring them down to that earthy side. If you find they're being overly nitpicky or really just anxious, make them a nice dinner. Make them smell the spices that you're cooking with and drink a nice wine. Like, allow them to ground down within their physical body. They're very sensual. They give great massages. They love to be of service. They love to give. So they make for amazing partners. But ground them down so they're not so in their mind and all sorts of crazy. So I'd love to hear your experience dating a Virgo, how this ultimate guide goes to catching your Virgo. Play it cool. They might be detached. They kind of take some time. Don't let that dissuade you. Comment down below which signs you'd like to see next. And until we meet again, take care.